Welcome to Screams and Streams, the podcast that looks at the best and worst horror movies as rated on Rotten Tomatoes from 1970 onwards. I'm your host, Mike Caron, and with me is my co-host,
Chad Campbell.
Before we get to today's film, we'd like to invite you to check us out on Instagram. Our handle is @ScreamStreamPod. Also, be sure to check out our website at www.screamsandstreams.com. Just a warning, in the podcast, we do jump around in the plot as we talk about the film. If you don't like spoilers, we recommend that you stop listening now, check out the film, and then rejoin us after for our discussion. Today, we are looking at Jeff Lieberman's 1976 film Squirm. It scored 27% on Rotten Tomatoes. So let's get into it. Chad, what is the plot summary?
A storm causes some power lines to break and touch the ground, drawing millions of man-eating worms out of the earth and into the town, where they quickly start munching on the locals. Da, da, da.
Da, da, da. So bad.
What horror movie has ever had worms as
the most easily escapable of all the vermin?
It's coming towards me. What am I to do?
This slow traveling ground crawler that can't fly.
Oh, it's so laughable out of the gate. It's so funny.
So good. And with the comment on it being so laughable, why don't you give us your first impressions?
Okay, I'm going to say, let's see, how do I describe this film? Amazingly bad, but super entertaining.
So fun to watch.
I had such a good time watching this film, and I think this is definitely recommended for a group, for a party. If you want to sit and laugh, it is The Room. It is any kind of horrible film that you just have fun with. You could even watch it by yourself. It's just a fun film. Like, don't take it too seriously. Know what you're getting, because it's ridiculous. The acting is
stellar,
so laughable in so many parts, and I had a good time. I mean, if you're gonna sit there and really nitpick at it, obviously you're gonna cut it apart, but I had a really, really good time watching this film.
Yeah, I did too. And to be honest, I think it's because I watched this and The Omen back to back in the same night.
Right.
And I started with The Omen, and as per the episode, I wasn't a big fan of it. So going from that and then into this, where it's just like, buckle up, it's going to be fun, or at least lowered expectations.
Right.
And then it made it like, yeah, you're watching a bad movie. Get over that fact and just go for the ride. And it was so good.
Yeah, like in our previous ones, I've gone into them and been like, this, I'm expecting a bad film, and I sit down and I really am quite harsh on them. But this one, I was just, you know what? I know it's going to be bad. I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to treat it like it is and just have fun with this film. Mm-hmm. And I really, really had a good time watching the special, these worms attack the people. Oh my God, it's so funny.
So good.
The worms! They're hopping up on tables and shit. Oh, it's so funny.
And coming from every direction.
Everywhere. And just spilling in. Oh my gosh. We'll get to this all later, but yeah, it's a ride. That's for sure.
For me, the one thing that I think what sold me on it, or what I really enjoyed, was the creepy crawliness of it. I've always, like, even as a kid watching insect documentaries, like, I had to have my feet off the floor. Like, it just gets under my skin. I have a fear of cockroaches. I have anything that like moves or wriggles, that I like, centipedes and millipedes, I don't like. So it did bring up that feeling as I was watching it. And I was like, and that really is what made me like, yeah, it's bad. The acting's bad. The premise is bad, but
it's still creepy.
It made my skin crawl.
Still kind of gross. And these worms have these like pincers on them, and they bite. They are the scariest looking worms I've ever seen.
Yeah, and they're real. Like, that is a real worm. That's a real worm under a macro microscope.
Yes.
And, like, when I picture worms, I picture the ones here that come out of the dirt.
No, little earthworms that are nothing, right?
Yeah, these ones have fangs.
And they scream, apparently.
That was the scream you heard at the beginning. And I'm going to talk about the rest of that opening sound as well in another category.
That is correct, sir.
Yeah. So yeah, just a fun movie. And I think we're going to have fun talking about it.
I think so too, yeah.
Okay. We're going to get into our first category, the Tropes Hall of Shame. And I'm going to kick off this category. And I've got a few, so I'll just start with the one right off the bat. It's the claiming that the story is based on a real event in the crawl.
Yeah.
Like anytime you see that in a horror movie, it's like, oh, okay, yes, this is based, whatever. It's just ridiculous. And to take something of such a weird premise and be like, it's based on a real event.
Right.
I guess it technically is, because Jeff Lieberman did see that, like, through some sort of accident, saw that electricity in the ground did draw earthworms up.
Yeah.
So that's the real event it's based on. And then he turned it into this like monster horror film. So that's my first trope, that based on a real event.
My first one is like, if one is good, 10,000 is better. The amount of worms that come out of the vents is just laughable.
Hundreds of thousands.
Unbelievable. The amount of and it truly is unbelievable.
Yes.
The amount of worms that we'll get into this in the research, but the amount of worms that were used in this film is insane.
Incalculable.
And I just thought, it just overruns. And maybe that's not a trope or a hall of shame. Maybe it's gratuitous, but that was one of my points I put on there. So
my next one is a trope that it is a favorite of mine. The redheads are back again.
Oh yeah.
So the two main protagonists are both redheaded. There's no creepiness or weirdness. They're just red-haired. So I was happy to see redheads. I'm like, oh, this is going to be bizarre, but they were just normal people, unfortunately.
Right.
What was your next one?
My next one is the city boy coming to a small town, and everybody just like, where are you from? And very Deliverance-esque.
I wrote down, small town folk don't take kindly to big city folk.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. As soon as he comes in, everybody's staring at him. Like, and I guess that would be a better trope than my worm one, is as soon as he walks into the diner, it's almost like the music stops.
Yeah, the record scratches.
And everybody looks over and sees him, and they follow him as he sits down at the diner. And it's just, that's the city boy coming to the small town, and the sheriff comes up to him. Why'd you do that, boy?
I don't want to see you again. And even like he orders the egg cream.
Yeah.
Which is like, someone told me it tastes delicious, because I was talking to a friend about this. I'm like, it sounds disgusting.
It looks disgusting and sounds disgusting.
Chocolate milk and soda.
Yeah.
But someone's like, no, it's like a milkshake. If you don't know how it's made, it's amazing. Like, yeah, but.
And she's like, oh, just like a chocolate soda. He says, yeah, but it's an egg cream. Why do you call it an egg cream?
I did look into it. Apparently it's like from one of the boroughs of New York. It just became like this slang and then mispronounced and then sort of evolved over time into egg cream.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. My next one was changing in front of a window and upset that someone sees you.
Oh, yes. Ooh.
Because the main character, she's changing and then she looks out and there's the guy looking up at her. And it's like, well, yes, he's looking through a window while someone's changing. That is wrong, but close your blinds.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I can't believe my neighbor's watching me when I'm changing with my windows wide open.
Yeah. That's crazy talk.
Do you have another one?
Well, the one thing, I thought the mother was a little inappropriate with the yard boy.
Oh, yeah.
And why don't you come on in and have a cool drink while he's sitting there cleaning up the stuff? And it just seemed like very, I don't know, sensual how she was kind of inviting him in and everything. And I thought it's been done, right? Like on the plantation or whatever, you know, he's picking up these sticks from the storm, putting them in a basket that would never hold more than 2 sticks. And he's supposed to clean up this whole yard. And she's, oh, you got to come in for a cool drink. And then the water's busted because of the storm. So she can't even give him a drink. So she's just a liar.
Yeah. And I thought, like, was she trying to get him in because she wants her daughter and him to hook up? But it played more as she.
But it was like, I think maybe she was trying to set him up with her. He obviously wants her, as we find out later in the film. Like, he wants the daughter. But the mother seemed very interested in the yard man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the pool boy, if you will.
Yeah. My next one, this one's just an easy one, but a bad storm brings the evil. Right. The movie does open with this horrible storm. The traffic light is swinging in the town, the only traffic light in the town probably. And because of this storm, this is what brings the monster to the village.
Newspaper blowing through the streets everywhere. Yeah. I have one more, just adding sound effects to something that wouldn't have sound effects. Like when the worm, when they go right close up to the worm and it's screaming, and it's pretty crazy.
Here, let's play that again so that people can hear it.
Sure. That is what the worm sounds like.
Yeah.
So if you could picture that.
They used horses and human screams to create that sound.
Amazing.
Yeah. My last trope comes later in the film where the sheriff and this woman are having a romantic tryst in a jail cell.
I know, he takes her to the jail cell instead of his house.
Yeah. That's the level of pull this guy has.
And then, oh my God. And there's no indication that he's married. So he's not like trying to hide her from anybody. He's just like, let's just go to the jail cell.
Are you comfortable on this tiny little cot? And they are smushed into that cot.
I know. It's like a twin bed.
But as they're laying there and they're talking, she's like, stop doing that. Stop. Oh, it's so bad. And it's the worms that are crawling up her leg. And we've seen that so many times where it's like the something else is on their leg and they think it's their partner.
It's under the covers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm not doing nothing, sweetheart. Oh, this sheriff is a gem. You should watch this movie just for the sheriff. He's got his button-down shirt mid-chest.
Yeah. And it is the thinnest of material as well. It's just such a bad.
He's got teeth like a horse. It is. This guy's a character. Oh my gosh.
So good. So good. Okay, we're going to move on to our next category of one-liners. Chad, what did you catch in the film?
Mine was she was driving in the station wagon with the city boy and they were talking back and forth. And I can't even remember how it comes up, but she's talking about these bloodworms that come in from the ocean. And she says, it was the worms. And he goes, the worms? She says, yeah, they bite. And when I was watching this, I was like, the worms bite? Is like, how could that? I just thought it was funny the way she delivered it and his reaction to that line. Right. I just got a chuckle out of it. So I put it down. I quickly jotted it down. The worms, they bite.
The worms, they bite.
That's going to come back later.
I might jump in with my one line here, and it's just because it's around the same subject where I think it's when they're on the fishing boat and it's like, hook it through its head.
Yeah.
And he's like, how do you know which end is the tail? And she just delivers this deadpan, the end opposite, the one that bites you.
Yes.
Like, again, like watching this movie, like worms bite. Like I was just flabbergasted by this.
I know. And they bite, and obviously they bite with a certain amount of intensity that you know, you don't want to be bit by these worms. My second one was the sheriff. They call him over to investigate this skeleton that they found in the backyard of this guy's house. And they go up there. They found the skeleton. They've got the sheriff. They've come back and the skeleton has disappeared. And the sheriff is annoyed. He already doesn't like the city boy because of the altercation in the diner.
Right.
The guy spilled his egg cream and there was a worm in his egg cream and he spilled it and they blamed him. And so the sheriff doesn't like him out of the gate. And so what he says is once he gets called and the skeleton is gone, he says, well, I'm going to let this go because it's too hot and I'm too busy to book this city weasel.
City weasel.
Oh, awesome. I loved it. I thought it was
awesome.
so good. And you have to see the way he just his whole look when he's delivering these lines. He's got his hand on his revolver and he's just this city weasel. Oh, it's so good.
We're now going to move into our category of what doesn't hold up. And my first one out of the gate is on the topic of the sheriff again. When they're going to the diner for the first time and we're slowly, approaching the lunch counter, he is just laying hands on the waitress. Like,
he puts his hand like basically up her skirt.
Yeah.
And just smiling about it.
Yeah. And she is not the one in the jail cell later. No. So he is just a pervert.
Oh, he's a big greaseball.
Yeah, salacious. Yeah. Chad, what is one of your doesn't hold ups?
My big one was the special effects. I mean, the times when all the worms billow in and it looks like they just placed a ton of worms on a dummy.
Right.
In some instances, the blood, and which there's not a lot of blood in this.
No.
Actually. But when they come in the shower and all that stuff, it just, the amount of worms and how they presented them and stuff, it just looks really cheesy, which, as I say, it doesn't hold up. It also adds to the charm of this film because it is, like I said, still fun, but it's laughable.
Yeah.
How they position these things. So.
The scene in the jail cell where they're up on the cot and she's like, stop that. And then it's like, And then suddenly it's a flood. But they're not just coming like up from the floor. They're coming down from the ceiling into the sink of the prison cell.
Yeah.
They're coming through the bars at like 1.5 feet off the ground. Yeah, it's
they're building up on the floor like a wave, like water in a flood. It is unbelievable. Yeah.
For me, one of the things that doesn't hold up, and I think when I wrote this down, it was earlier in the film, and later on I was like, okay, there's no way it's the actors, but the characters of Willie and Roger, I was like, are they just bad actors, or were they written to speak that poorly? Because
all right,
especially Roger's like, you got to be careful with them there crates there, boy. But they keep, he just,
I love that impression.
What do you mean the water there don't be good for me to drink? But he just adds syllables. And there's even this one line where it's like, you gonna be the worm face.
That should have been in my one-liners. You gonna be the worm face.
I didn't write that one down either.
Yeah. It's like he's trying to be Cajun, but there's like multiple dialects going on there and all done poorly. No, I agree.
And like Southern slow maybe, but then it just comes across as weird and awkward.
I'm not sure if he's supposed to be slow or if he's just supposed to be this weird, creepy guy, or if he's, because in a couple of scenes, he's got this dumb ass smile on his face. And you're like, I don't know. His big old teeth. He's got big teeth too.
Huge.
I never realized how many people have huge teeth in this film. But he comes across as just weird. Yeah. Which I guess he's supposed to, but you gonna be the worm face. Yeah.
Yeah. What's one of your other ones?
Well, the acting, just in general, the acting just doesn't hold up. Anybody who's trying to do a Southern accent does it poorly.
Right.
The delivery of a lot of the lines are, in my mind, not done correctly. Sometimes the screams are totally labored. Yeah, the acting really didn't hold up for me. But again, when you buckle up into this film, expect some horrid acting. I mean, there are festivals for The Room.
Yes.
And everybody knows that movie has horrible acting.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie has some stellar horrible moments.
This one would be great. You obviously you'll sell gummy worms at the concession. People should throw worms at the screen.
Yeah, and like a Rocky Horror Picture Show, you could dress up like Worm Face.
Yeah.
It's
everyone gets an egg cream.
Yes. You could even booze it up. It could be like a paralyzer or something. Yeah.
Still gross.
If that's your thing. But yeah, it still sounds disgusting. But yeah.
Those two words together. I mean, that's basically what mayonnaise is, but it just sounds gross.
It just does sound horrible when you say it like that. And when you order it as a drink, I'll have an egg cream. It's not something that I would run into a restaurant trying to buy.
My next doesn't hold up, and it's something that's like, where did they go? Wine bottles in wicker as candle holders. Right? Those old like Chianti bottles. It just seemed to be a thing of the 70s. Like you put a candle in the top, there's your candle holder.
That's right. Yeah.
So that's at the Italian restaurant when he goes to get the sheriff and it's like, we got a lot of spaghetti to eat. I don't have time.
That'll give you about 15 minutes. And the way they're slurping up this spaghetti is supposed to be like, oh, the worms. Got a lot of spaghetti here to eat. Yeah. That's when he's wheeling and dealing this other girl that he takes to the jail cell. And I don't think she says but 2 words.
No, other than stop and don't. And
yeah.
Do you have another doesn't hold up?
The premise of the film?
But it's a real event, Chad. It's a real event.
I'm going to call bullshit. It's that's a lot of electricity flooding through that mud to get the amount of worms in any place. No. Doesn't hold up for me.
I have one that I'm surprised you didn't jump on because it's sort of one of your pet peeves throughout. It's when the sister gets stoned but cannot act stoned.
Oh, yes.
I was just waiting. I had it written down. I'm like, Chad's going to take that one from me.
No. Yeah, I missed it. Yeah. Sorry. I didn't miss it. I just had so many others. No.
And again, it's like, do we just keep pointing out the same things every bad movie?
Every time. It's like they can't act drunk. They can't act stoned. They don't. She did fall into the dresser.
She did.
Which foreshadows
Where they find her.
How she survives the whole worm encounter at the end, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, she just can't. I think it's just really, really hard. And I've said this before. I just think it's really hard to play drunk or stoned and have it believable, but also keep it consistent.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to build tension and you want them to be able to get away. But if you were hammered or high, or as high as they're proclaiming she should be,
right,
you wouldn't be able to get to really do a whole heck of a lot. Yeah. So I don't know. It is one of my pet peeves. I just wish they'd try to keep it going a little longer.
Okay. We are going to move into our overly gratuitous scene. Chad, what was your overly gratuitous, or one of your overly gratuitous?
Well, I mentioned it before in my tropes. It's just the amount of worms. It's just so much that it just takes you out of especially at the end scene, the last 30 minutes when they're all spilling into the house.
Yeah.
And it's building up on the stairs. The worms are already on the stairs.
They're up to the second floor.
It's like, wow. It's just insane,
yeah,
the amount that's there, and it's laughable. So yeah, to watch that, it just kind of takes you out. But I mean, really, this whole movie is not, when you're watching it, it's not really believable anyway. So you're kind of strapping in for a silly fun ride. You're not looking for genuine.
No. Yeah, this is not realistic.
Yeah. There's no Oscars won on this bad boy, but it is crazy the amount of worms that are there.
For me, the gratuitous was, and I don't know if it was good effects or not, but when Roger when he comes to worm face, yeah, and he's pulling the worms out of his cheeks, and it's just it was just so gross. Like it was very visceral. It wasn't well done. I don't know what it was, but I was watching it, I was just like, oh, that just made me feel sick. Yeah.
See, I like that part. I was like, oh my gosh, that's the best.
Well, it is, but I'm not putting in gratuitous because it's bad. It was just in a movie like this, it was the only thing I could pull because the effect was so gross.
Yeah.
Do you have another one?
Well, again, with the worm face is when they first start crawling up into his face.
Oh,
was when I was just, whoa.
Yeah. Just so gross.
And so many of them are all just, and he's just standing there screaming. He's not like grabbing at him or trying to pull him, and they get right into his skin, and you see like it kind of bulge on his forehead and stuff. And it is something to behold. It's pretty gross.
It was a good use of latex and makeup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for that time, it was pretty well done.
Yeah.
And gratuitous enough to make it super gross. Yeah. Oh, can I just say one more thing for that one? Sorry. The egg cream looked disgusting as well.
Oh, yes.
And when he spilled it on himself and I was just, ugh.
It was like gray water at one point. It just,
yeah, it really looked disgusting.
And I just love that. Where the hell did that worm? Okay.
I know.
It has a worm in the glass, which means it had to have come from when she poured the milk into the glass.
Yes.
But again, how did the worm get into the milk carton even? Like it just, yeah.
Or the club soda or whatever she was using, and then it spilled. And then later on in the film, he makes reference to, maybe it was my fault. All those worms came from me. And it's like, how did your worm get into the glass that's over the counter?
Yeah.
It's just, anyways.
And yet that's why everyone's mad at him, because like he must have brought the worm.
He must have brought the worm and put it in there, and then he spilled it all over himself.
Yeah. What a joke.
Yeah. I got you all. I don't want you to pay. I just want you to get out of my establishment. All righty. Sounds good.
We're now going to move on to our test of time. And I've got a couple for this category. Nothing significant, though. Like, this movie doesn't have a lot of, like, wow, that is still... I did enjoy the Pabst Blue Ribbon is still the drink of the white trash.
Oh, nice. Yes.
Yeah, Roger is sitting there drinking it. Hipster drink now, but still drank by the same demographic. And then my other one was just the worms in the shower head.
Oh, yeah.
Towards the end of the day, which I think this is hilarious. You don't see this in movies where it's like they're running for days or they're fighting for days and like there's never a bathroom break. Right. So for this one, they've been dealing with all of these like strange occurrences and emergencies and weird things and dead bodies. And she's like, I'm just going to go up and have a shower. It's like, now?
Yeah.
But that, like, when she turns the water and they start to come through, it isn't a great, I'm not saying it's a great effect.
Right.
But is that just that fear in me of like, is there something in the shower head? And I still remember back to like watching Arachnophobia.
I was going to mention that. The spiders falling down. Yeah.
You're in such a vulnerable state at that time. So on this, the thing that doesn't hold up that I just didn't think about until right now, but when Patricia Percy, who plays Jerry Sanders, the main female in the film,
Yep.
when she goes to shower, full nudity, we get the shot of the side boob. Yeah. Like just that little bit of titillation. But when her sister, played by Jean Sullivan, she turns the water on as well when she goes to shower, but she's still fully clothed. Yeah. And I just noticed that. I'm like, interesting choice. Like, obviously the one actress is like, I guess I have to do the scene. And the other actress probably said, I'm not doing nudity. And they're like, well, okay. So those are my two test of times. There really isn't much else.
No, just all in all, it's just, I would just say, as far as test of time, if you're just looking for a silly movie and a fun time, then that would be it. There's nothing really fantastic about this that you're really breaking down and saying was really well. I guess the worm face thing we had talked about,
right?
The effects on that work,
right?
But other than that, I don't think there's really a whole heck of a lot.
No, not really.
You're not going to think about this movie much after you watch it. It's definitely a turn your brain off and laugh kind of thing.
All right. And we're going to now move into our eerie and ear-splitting category. Chad, what do you have on the music or sound in the film?
Well, the first one was the kid song at the beginning. You heard it in the intro that we did. This child singing this lullaby type song, and it's ear-splitting. It's just so annoying. It's used a couple of times during the film, and it is an annoying song.
Yes.
It just drove me crazy from the beginning, and then they played it again, and then at the end, and I was not a fan. So that's an ear-splitting moment for me, is that lullaby song sung by that kid.
Yeah, and I had that one as well. I was just like, that kid is so off-key.
Oh, yeah. Just so all kinds of problems there.
Yeah.
I wonder if he was related to someone on production or something, and they're just like, let's just get you to sing because kids' voices are creepy. So,
well, it was hard to listen to, so it is unsettling.
Really was, yeah.
And we've already talked about it, the shrieking of the worms.
Yep.
Right. Now we're going to move into our back it up moments, and I'm going to start with my first back it up. We've talked about the sheriff quite a bit, and there's a scene when they bring the sheriff to Mr. Beardsley. This is where they find the skeleton, and then they bring the sheriff to discuss the body or for the discovery of the body. Right. And his physicality in that scene, like, he is just so dismissive to the both of them, doesn't care. But he's also just focused because he's a lech, but he's focused on Jerry, like the female.
Yeah, the whole time.
Right. He's got his back to Mick the entire time.
And he's annoyed when Mick tries to, get his attention. He fires back right away.
There's even a great moment where, like, he turns to face Mick, but he turns, like, back to camera. So it just seems like even more like just, like, I guess I'll talk to this guy.
Well, and I guess if you really break it down, now that you mentioned that, just to go back to tropes and Hall of Shame, is the sheriff not listening to anything that's happening
right
by the kids. Well, kids, these guys are older at this time, but just not believing anything they say. There's a skeleton here. Oh, now it's gone. You better fly right. City Slicker, get out of here. I'm not impressed with you, Jerry. You should have been better, or whatever he says there.
Yeah.
So that's one thing, is like the sheriff just doesn't believe anything wrong is happening.
Mm-hmm. What was your back it up moment?
My back it up moment was the worm face fight scene.
Oh, in the forest?
Yeah. Well, there were two. The forest one I didn't like as much as the one in the house.
Okay.
When he grabs him in the house, I like that one. The one in the forest was okay, but when he throws that chunk of plywood on him, I just laughed. And the thing that killed me was Mick gets up after I don't know how long. Apparently the worms are scared by the light. Yes. So we find out that if you turn the lights on or keep lights on or even a lighter, they'll retreat and they'll go away. So while Mick is trying to find some boards to board up the house, he grabs these 2 sheets of plywood and he's trudging through the woods, and Wormface, Reggie, or whatever, Roger jumps on him, beats him, throws him into this hole, and then throws these plywood sheets on him.
Yeah, he'll never be strong enough to lift those.
No, these little... They're so thin.
Like 4 foot by 4 foot plate.
Yeah, he just throws them on him. It's be like putting a sheet over you.
Yeah.
And so after that, he runs away, and Mick is left in this hole. He wakes up, looks around, and he turns on this lighter. He finds and starts lighten the worms so they'll retreat away from him. But really, he should have been attacked.
Oh, yeah. Well, he just laid there
He was
prone.
out for, I don't know how long, but it got night pretty quick. So anyways, he wakes up and then his ankle's hurt, right? Yeah. But only for 30 seconds.
Yeah, you just got to shake it off. Walk it off.
You'd think it's broken the way he sells it at the start. And then he gets out of the out of that hole, and then he just runs to the house.
Yeah.
Leaving the sheets of plywood behind.
You brought up so many things that I kind of forgot about, but like when he's leaving, like, I'm going to go get plywood. And she's like, oh, there's a mill. It's just a few miles away. And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
They have a car.
A station wagon.
Lots of storage, lots of cargo space.
Yeah.
How are you going to get it back? He's like, I'll think of something.
Yeah.
It's like, take the car.
Yeah.
But no, he goes and he gets like a couple sheets and then awkwardly carries them through the woods.
I know. They're like these 4x8, but they're super thin. And he's just trudging through the forest. Yeah. I mean, if a good gust of wind came up, that boy's heading into the woods. Yeah. There's no...
That is a kite, yeah. And then the other thing is when you talked about the light, it reminded me of once night falls and they're showing the worms attacking in various areas. There's a scene in the diner where the camera's moving along from the floor level, looking up at these people sitting at the diner's counter. Yeah. And the power's out. And they're like, do you hear that? What's that noise? And he takes one candle and holds it down to the ground and there's thousands of worms again. All of a sudden, nobody noticed.
Nobody noticed, yeah.
But what I love about the scene when I was looking back at it is he freaks out, grabs the woman from the stool beside him, and then like yanks both of them down to the ground. Like, they could have just stayed sitting on the stools and they would have been fine
for a long time. Yeah. They jump up on the bar and are screaming and they just fall into the into the worms. It's crazy.
And that's why this film is so bad, because it's like they are just worms. I'm just gonna lazily walk away.
I mean, if you just stomp on them or walk, you'd get out of there. Yeah.
My other back it up moment is when things are going crazy and they're looking for the sheriff and they get to the jail, or I think it's the jail, and there's the cleaner cleaning up and just chatting away. Doesn't have a care in the world, but
did your mom get that yarn that I sent?
And they're just in this panic mode. And Don Scardino plays Mick, and he has a look on his face that I was like, I 100% know how you feel, because I don't know how many times at work where I need to like go in and ask a quick yes, no question. Right. And I'm using my body language like, just let me interrupt. And I've got to sit and listen to the most inane conversation. Like, well, the balls of yarn were $1.98 the other day, so I got 4. Oh, my son loves. I just need to know if he's coming to class.
It reminds me of The Simpsons, where there's like, well, we got this old guy at the cashier, and it's Grandpa Simpson, and he's telling the story. 5 B's for a nickel, they'd say. I wore an onion on my belt, which was the style at the time. And there's just so many times you're just, oh my God, we're in a hurry.
Yeah, but backing it up just to see Mick's face. Yeah. It's so good.
Probably the only bit of stellar acting Mick did in that film.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, now we're going to move into our bonus features, the stuff that we found out to add some color or information to the movie. Chad, what do you have?
I just found this. I thought it was interesting. I'm just going to read it out here. The amount of sea worms used in the film was countless, as the production would order shipments of 250,000 Glycera worms at a time. The production would end up wiping out the New England fishing industry's supply of Glycera worms that year.
Yeah. I loved when I looked up that fact, and it's like at a time, not once. At a time. Yeah.
We need more worms. Let's get 250,000 of them. Yeah.
I have a couple of just casting choices. As I was doing the research, I stumbled upon like Mystery Science Theater 3000's website, because this is actually an episode of Mystery Science Theater 3000. Oh, yeah? I recommend checking both out. The jokes they make are so good. And sorry, this isn't from my research. It made me laugh. Every time Patricia Percy is on screen, they're like, oh my God, it's a Q-tip with a wig. And like the next time, it's a walking broom. They just like, She's not overly thin. She doesn't have an overly big head, but they just keep making all of these like skinny sticks in a wig type object jokes every single time she's on screen. And it's funny because like the first couple times I was like, ha ha ha, but they keep that joke running through the whole viewing of the film. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But when I was on their website and it was showing information, there's just a couple of interesting casting choices or casting potentials. Kim Basinger auditioned for the role of Jerry.
Whoa, really?
She could have been the lead. Sly Stallone, he eagerly pursued the role of Roger.
And he didn't get it?
And he didn't get it. I think he would have been great.
That guy got Roger? Oh my gosh.
But I wonder if it's his accent, right? Like he's got that Italian New York. It just wouldn't have worked. Maybe he couldn't pull off the Southern. And Martin Sheen was briefly attached to play Mick.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, like this could have been a powerhouse of a film.
No doubt.
Yeah. Do you have any others?
I have one. This is just a little piece of trivia, but during the film's production, there was a mix-up with the film processing lab. Film footage from a wedding was accidentally sent to the director, Jeff Lieberman, and B-roll footage of the worms used in the film was sent to the newlyweds. Could you imagine opening up what you think is your wedding and you see this like B-roll of 250,000 worms squirming all over each other?
Out of context, mass amount of worms. So good. They had to have gotten the right footage back.
Oh, I would hope so.
So good.
Lieberman's like, what the hell is this?
One thing that came up on that website as well, and we've talked about this before, where it's like early movies seem to play really fast and loose with the safety of their actors.
Oh,
and
yeah, big time, yeah.
There is this scene where they're at the house and they're sitting down to dinner, and a tree from outside crashes through the roof onto the table.
Right.
That was done on set, in camera. That was the actors. They dropped a legit tree on the room while they were sitting in there. Yeah. Like that wasn't stunt doubles. That was the actors.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was just like, oh my God, that could have gone horribly wrong. And then for just another sort of safety or onset danger, there's a YouTube video with Dan Scardino and Jeff Lieberman, and they're talking. And I guess Dan Scardino, who plays Mick, was actually bitten by a worm while filming.
Oh,
he was supposed to just have a worm on his arm, and it got under the makeup and gave him a nasty bite.
Oh, really? Oh, interesting.
I don't know what scene it was in. I don't know if it's when he actually gets
in the boat when he got actually bit, or
or somewhere else,
or another one. Yeah,
they didn't use it. Yeah.
And then interesting.
I have a couple other things. Do you have any other?
Well, I just have a little fun fact. The bartender, Mr. Quigley, is the dinosaur guy in Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh,
yeah. And the first, like the guy that Robin Williams makes fun of and says, "Oh, I think this guy was alive when the dinosaurs were alive."
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. That's Mr. Quigley.
Interesting.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty funny.
Speaking of like people in this film that went on to do other things, Dan Scardino, who plays Mick, became a director. He directed 38 episodes of 30 Rock and 39 episodes of Two Broke Girls.
Wow.
Yeah, so he became a prolific TV director.
Those were very big shows.
Yeah. Peter McLean, who plays Sheriff Reston, he was in Days of Our Lives and Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo. And I don't remember who he played in Breakin' 2, but... I'd
like to know who he was in Days of Our Lives.
He played Sean Brady. He was in 31 episodes on Days of Our Lives.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, from 1977 to 1990.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. In Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo, he played Mr. Douglas. And I do love the movie, but I can't remember it well enough to remember who he is, and my friends will shame me for that.
Oh.
Yeah. Feels like he's the guy that owns the rec center that's going to close down or something, but I don't know. And then the producer of this film, Samuel Z. Arkoff, this is more just sort of a Easter egg for our films, is also the producer of Madhouse and Scream Blackula Scream. So seeing his name at the beginning, I was like, he's back. And the budget was $470,000.
Ooh.
Yeah. So those are the things I found. Leonard Maltin gave it 3 stars.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I couldn't find an Ebert review for it.
Yeah, no, I don't think I don't know if it would have even crossed his radar.
Probably not.
Yeah.
He would have hated it.
Yeah. On the Region 1 DVD commentary of the film, director Jeff Lieberman says that the old farmhouse used for Mr. Beardsley's home during the shoot is known as one of the most infamous haunted houses in Georgia. That's a little trivia bit that I found.
All right, it's time to place this film on our watchability scale. I'm going to give it a 6.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like, higher than Carrie?
Higher than
You're giving it higher than Carrie? Oh my God.
I would rewatch this film before watching Carrie again.
Wow.
Like we said, it's a fun watch. It's a fun film. Know what you're getting into. I'm not giving it a 6 because this is great.
Right.
This isn't like, wow, because I think I put The Omen up there as well. So
right.
I'm not saying that they are at the same level of production. It's just on a recommend to watch for our listeners. I'm giving it a 6. You got to check it out. You got to watch it with friends.
Right.
Enjoy the ride. So that's where I'm putting it.
All right. Well, you know what? I kind of thought about it and I was like, well, I'll give it 2 ratings. I was like, 1, if you're looking for a good movie that you want to be scared and like you're looking for a thriller or anything like that, this is not the film for you. That's a 2, right? Like the acting and everything like that, you're just not going to enjoy it. But as Mike has said, if you're just looking for a fun, stupid film that you're going to laugh at and think is ridiculous and just have fun with some friends and have a few drinks and just, I'd give it a 6 or a 7.
Yeah.
Because it is that funny. The pacing is slow. I'm going to tell you, coming out of the gate, it takes them forever to meet each other, to get to where things start to go. So the first half hour, 45 minutes, the pacing's really slow.
Right.
But once it picks up and you start to see the ridiculousness, once the worms start going into people's faces, once they're like, oh, we're on a swamp that you can't even swim in. It's, it's just, there's so many moments in this film. If you just like look at the acting and the special effects and the fact that worms are the main antagonist of the film, like it's just, it's gold. Like you just can't not have fun. Double negative, but you just can't. Yeah,
you can't not have fun.
You can't not have fun. It is just that silly of a film.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a good watch with some buddies, I'd say this is what you want to see.
But you're right. As far as horror, if we were going to stick to like we are a horror podcast, it's a 2.
Yeah,
but it's a 6.
But it's a 6.
All right. Thank you for listening to us today. Be sure to check out our Instagram page. We are at ScreamStreamPod, and stop by our website, screamsandstreams.com, where we have information about our episodes, descriptions of our categories, links to our research, our watchability scale, and our suggestion page where you can recommend movies that you think we should talk about. And please subscribe to, rate, and comment on our shows on any of the platforms where you get your podcasts. Until next time, this has been Mike and
Chad.
Scare you later.